This is one of the stories that people consider it to be stranger than fiction. From the face value, one would take it that this is a case of bipolar case. It is possible. I mean, we have some bipolar cases which are genuine, but this one, someone wants it to appear as if it is a bipolar case. But when you look at it properly, it is not a bipolar case. It is a case that leaves a lot to decide. And in fact, I would treat everybody in this case, almost everybody, I would treat him or her as a suspect. I'm trying to ask myself, the author of this story, what was his or her intention to say that? As much as I try to reason, I find that I'm taking one step ahead and going back 2 steps. I know someone would advise me, why don't you look back and then start going that direction so that you, anyway, that is a joke. This lady here, let me not call her name, I will not use names. This lady leaves her husband with 2 young kids and goes to Nairobi. There is no indication that they quarreled. There is no indication of anything or whatever. Just she leaves her 2 young kids with their father and goes, stays in Nairobi for about a year. From where I'm seated, there is no evidence at all of her husband reporting to her people that your sister or your daughter has disappeared and left me with the kids. Well, these are the things. We have stories like Kware and so on and so forth. So I want to tell especially those young people from their mid-60s, especially men, if the woman you are staying with disappears, there are 2 places you have to report as soon as possible. You have to communicate with her people and you have to communicate with the police. I know the police, if you communicate to the police, first of all, they ask, did you quarrel? Did you whatever? Why can't you give her 2 days to see if maybe, or maybe she just went somewhere and, you can go somewhere and develop some sickness or anything. You have seen pictures on the social media of people who are lost or something and maybe they get confused. There are so many ways. But actually, in the police station, when you go there and say that the woman whom I cohabitate with, she has disappeared, and then you'll be told to report back after 2 to 3 days. They would also advise you to check on her acquaintances, especially her relatives. There is no evidence of when she left her husband and her kids. There is no evidence that the husband ever reported her being lost or anything to the police or even to her relatives. You see, then you ask yourself, is there something that the husband is hiding? And then, after a year or so, the woman comes back to her husband and her children. And they continue life as if nothing has happened. Now, I'm looking at it from the aspect of the husband. Are you seeing that, okay, we have cases where women are married to people who are mentally disturbed or anything? Yeah. If we get evidence of that nature, then I will totally agree with you that something like. But you want to tell me that the woman, now I'm talking to men, especially young men, the woman whom you are cohabitating with, and the woman whom you have kids with, she disappears. You don't report to the police. You don't report to her people. You stay for over a year. Then she comes, I post there because I want to talk about myself. Watengeres, we have stayed with her several decades. And from day one, I'm not talking of today, from day one, I told her that we are equal as far as the house is. Uh, she did not that time need to ask me for permission. I'm not even talking of today, but I find that people of my age, those who when they were newly married, their wives had to seek for permission. Now, you know, my understanding of seeking for permission means that when you're telling somebody, I want to go to such and such a place to do such and such a, first of all, you tell where you're going, you tell what you're going to do. But most importantly, you leave the other person with the right to accept that you go or even deny you the permission. He can deny you the permission without even explaining or anything. Or even if he has to explain or anything, it is that he holds the final word. I always ask myself and I always ask people, if your wife has to seek for permission to go to such and such a place, then you as a husband, when you need to be away for 2 to 3 days, you also have to seek for permission from her. And if she refuses, you don't go. Bibi na bwana wataungana wawe kitu kimoja. This is like you are running a company, a registered company, where each of you have 50% shares. And that company is called marriage. Now, okay, let us go back to this gentleman. His wife disappears for a year or so, I don't know, but a long time. There is no evidence at this time of him going to the authority to say the wife has disappeared. And when she comes back, there is even no evidence of even him inquiring where she was all that time. Is it possible that this is not the first time it is happening? Now we are still with the husband. Does it mean that they have something that they do and they have been extorting money from people concerning this thing? It is quite possible that the husband is hiding a lot of things. Now let us go to the boyfriend in Nairobi. One thing the boyfriend is better than the husband is that she has stayed with the husband for quite a longer time than the boyfriend. But the evidence has shown that when the boyfriend didn't see her, he got concerned. The husband did not get concerned. There is a big question there. Okay, assuming that the husband does not know that there is a boyfriend, and assuming that the boyfriend does not know that the husband is there, you stay with somebody for some time, and then she disappears, and you just act normally. That is where I place the boyfriend a plus. But then, it is quite possible that the boyfriend is also hiding a lot of things. It is quite possible, first of all, that the husband and the wife may be using this style of extortion. Let me do my favorite thing of disgracing a bit. There is a lady who was in Thika, and she used to lure men, powerful men, into a lodging, and then she takes photographs with them. And then the people are told, if you don't produce money, this picture will come out. I think the then deputy governor for Kirinyaga was involved in such a thing and whatever. In this case, it is quite possible that the husband uses the wife to gain that such things. And the person she went to, unfortunately, I think it's Kangemi. The Kangemi fellow, if you look at the house he stays in and you look at even the phone he uses, Kabambe, they were trying on a wrong person. They're trying on a wrong person, demanding 150,000 from somebody whom even 30,000 would be a problem for him to produce. But this does not mean that the boyfriend doesn't have something he's hiding. Why did the boyfriend produce a number? Because he's saying, I got a missed call from this number, and the girl or the lady called me from this number and said, if you don't pay them very quickly, my life is in danger. And he gave out that number. When that number was given to the CRIB, Crime Research and Investigation Bureau, it was found that that number had never communicated with the boyfriend's number. Could it be also the boy? You know, these things. That is why I'm saying it is so confusing. Could the boyfriend also be in it so that they would maybe they you never know. I remember we had a teacher in Nairobi Technical, 1978. He used to be called Mr. Banot. Mr. Banot used to tell us that the world is so changed that you cannot trust anybody. And he said, even me, there are sometimes I doubt myself. The world is so changed that you have nobody to trust. You even doubt yourself. Now you even look at it this way. But you see, it could even be something that has been planned. Even the husband is in it, even the boyfriend is in it, and so on and so forth. I am trying to believe that this is something that they wanted it to be out, so that that is when we con politicians, because you can go to a politician from your home area and say that my woman has been kidnapped and they need 150,000 a ransom, and the politician would give you 90,000, and 90,000 among three people, everybody gets 30,000. So if you look at all these things, uh, nobody, the husband, the boyfriend, the lady, nobody is talking sense. Now, I want to talk about bipolar, because this incident, they wanted it to appear as if it is bipolar. Bipolar is a sickness where somebody has two characters. It is a disease. It is a disease. So it is like a mental disease, but somebody has two identities. You could be staying in, let's say, Nairobi, and you could be running two successful companies, one on this end of the town, and the other one on this other end of the town. Very successful. And on each, you are placed there. You have a family, not even a wife, a family. A success. Now you start a business here where you call yourself Raphael Saya, and you have a wife, you have kids, and whatever. And in this side, you start another family and a business, and you call yourself James JI-TENGE, and you have a family and whatever. Your wife here knows that you are James JI-TENGE, and even your kid, they call themselves their names, and the last name is JI-TENGE. And here the lady knows you are Raphael Saya, and even the kids, their birth certificates indicate that their father is Saya. In this case, in the bipolar case, even you are confused, because you cross Uhuru Highway and go on the other side, you become completely Raphael Saya, and everything you do and everything, and most of these people are very successful. But you see, with the technology of today, the technology of today is a technology that identifying and treating bipolar is easier because of the technology. First of all, in those who took IDs with me in the 80s, we know people like the boxer called Wangila. Wangila had more than one birth certificate and had more than one ID. But with the technology today, you try to register a second ID with a different number, or particularly even if it is one, you will be recognized immediately and you'll be caught. So initially when I had this case, I thought it was a case of bipolar, but evidence have now shown that there is. In Lingala, they say makambo ezali minene makambo ezali burio mangana kave manene yaha mangana kave serious yaha. Maneno ni manene hapa, maneno ni manene hapa, na maneno hapa ni tafwash hapa. Thank you.